Hello, I'm Ryan Callan and welcome to the 2013 Virtual V8 Supercars highlights. This is the opening round and we are once again sponsored by GamePod.co.uk, the longest running manufacturer of sim racing furniture in the world. It was Jeffrey Rietveld who kicked off his TPS career with a bang, taking pole position from last year's championship runner-up William Levesque. Reigning champion Jesper Tolbo was third, while Sasha Glatter out-qualified his teammate and 2011 winner Florian Strauss. Fifth was Rybio, continuing his good form, sixth Davis, 7th and 8th Holm and Yashin, and 9th and 10th Kilo and Mueller. That 6th row was Strauss and Gerdica, with 13th and 14th Brentson and Venice, 15th and 16th was Salo and Wiesenmüller. Away from the grid they went then. It was a good start from Rietveld, but an even better one from William Levesque, who squeezed down the inside into turn 1 while there was drama in behind. Wiesenmüller was on the grass while fighting with Mueller, and Mueller also spun around Sasha Glatter as they went through turn 1, and the unfortunate Matt Richards was collected, as you can see here, on board with him. 3 cars would take major damage out of this altercation. Glatter, Richards of course, and Matty Orban will limp back to the pits with the puncher. Into turn 3 in open lap however, and Rietveld took no time at all in reclaiming that lead as Levesque opened the door for him. As the field head through turn 6, everyone appears to be clean after that opening turn. And here was the order at the end of lap 1. Rietveld beginning to open up a gap, while Levesque was also beginning to open up a gap to his teammate Jesper Tolbo. The rest of the field comes streaming through. And on this second lap, David Junt was making up for a poor qualifying 22nd. He was already up to 15th here with this move on Oyala, but he wasn't quite, because he came back across the track and Oyala was able to retake the position. On board with Petzold now, and Ross McGregor is attacking the back of the core racing driver, but Wiesenmüller decided he wanted to piece the action also, and it was he who profited as McGregor was pushed wide. Looking back from Kevin Brents on lap 3 in position 20, and all hell was breaking loose behind. Too wide constantly it seemed. While on lap 3, Junt finally made that move stick on Tommy Oyala for 15th position. While Petzold and McGregor were getting intimate at the start of lap 5. Sort of contact can often result in disaster. While on lap 6, Holm and Rybio were in a battle. Rybio desperately tried to defend, but Holm was through and he was into P6. Into lap 8, and Jeffrey Rietveld had a huge lead on the field, already 4 seconds. You can only just see William Levesque in the distance, while his teammate was slithering down the inside of Holm after contact earlier with McGregor. And at the start of lap 9, here was the order. You can see the big gap between first and second place. There's a damaged Matty Orban going through, while the 2 no-limit debutants were running well, just inside and outside the top 10. Bruno Ferreira was being passed around the outside by Ross McGregor. Wiesenmüller following through also. Well, on lap 9, Strauss made this mistake around the back of the circuit near the lake, and he would drop 3 positions as a result. On board with Gerdica. He had been running really well, but on lap 10 he outbraked himself, touched the back of Thibaut Venice, and this was the end result. And there was more woe for Gerdica 3 laps later, braking too late in the same place Strauss went off and hitting the back of Kilo. On lap 13 is when most of the pit stops were made, and it was a busy time. Rietveld actually had a slow pit stop, and Levesque was able to gain quite a margin on him, as you can see here. That gap between Levesque and Rietveld would open up once again, however, as Levesque struggled on his outlap with traffic, while Holm was able to jump Yashin with his pit stop. Lap 17, and jumping over the curb almost ended in disaster for Toby Davis, who had had to traverse the pits once again after a drive-through penalty for speeding, while in the same area it was McGregor this time who got out of shape, and Wiesenmuller once again going past his big race rival. Lap 18, Davies made the dive on Strawn work this time. He was up into P11. Well, also on lap 18, there was Wiesenmuller going straight past Oyala on the outside, up into P16. Lap 19, Rietveld opening the gap more and more. Almost 6 seconds now was the gap back to William Levesque. While on lap 20, this time it was McGregor who was profiting from a bump over the curb as he takes 17th position from Tommy Oyala. Ben Crookston has returned to the TPS and find life tough going, and it got no easier at all after that mistake. While the big story, lap 21, Willie Levesque, running in second place, made a big mistake under braking into turn 1 and spun into the gravel. He would drop to third place. Well, this mistake on lap 22 from Eric Strawn would cost him 12th place. Junt making a textbook pass down the inside into Ascari. Controversy began to boil between Kilo and Toby Davis. Davis here having a look down the inside in turn 13. Doesn't take advantage of it. Tucks back in for a run into the penultimate corner. Another touch there from Davis on the Danish driver. Dives down the inside of this corner. Was never going to work. 2 touches in the side of Kilo's car. Quite heavily damaged. Once again, Davis does not take advantage of that. But the stewards frowned upon Davis' conduct, and they gave him a penalty for all of that contact. On to the next lap, he was able to make a good move down the inside of Simon Kilo and take away that 10th spot. Just about keeping apart from each other on the exit. Strawn made a mistake round the back of the leg, and Adams and Gerdeker going past him for 13th and 14th. But Strawn fought back immediately, going past Robert Gerdeker to retake his 14th place. Well, the next lap, Strawn would undo all his hard work there by running wide at turn 5. And Gerdeker was straight through, needing no second invitation. Lap 26 then in the leader's pit. And that mistake from Levesque is illustrated here as Rietveld has made his pit stop before Levesque can even get into his. Rietveld this time would not lose as much time in the pits as he did the first time around. Disaster stroke for Strauss as he entered the pits on lap 26. Ran a bit too wide entering the pits. Neatly got out of the way of the oncoming Rasmus Salo. But this incident would cost him lots and lots of time. While courtesy of the pit stops and staying out an extra lap, Thibaut Venice on his TPS debut was leading the race on lap 27. Also on lap 27, Simon Kilo was diving back down the inside of Toby Davis, but then inexplicably cut off the Englishman going into the pits. While coming out of the pits, Kilo was also in the thick of the action. Strauss going around the outside, contact between the two. A bit of a slide from Simon Kilo. While on the next lap, Strauss was under pressure once again from Simon Kilo. Kilo was crawling all over the back of the 2011 champion, almost sneaking through. Strauss just about able to hold him off, while Toby Davis was gaining in the background. And here he was trying to have it go down the inside around the back of the leg, and that was not a move that was ever going to work. Pushes Kilo out of the way, who later rescind the position. But both Kilo and Davis will receive strict penalties for their antics. Michael Mueller was having an excellent TPS debut. Here taking 6th spot from Thibaut Venice, who himself was having a good debut also, having qualified 14th and now running 7th. While Mueller's No Limit teammate Gerdeker was in the thick of the action with Davis and Kilo. two continued their racing, but had thankfully calmed down their antics from earlier in the race. Well, on lap 31, Wiesemüller came across a stranded and spinning Eric Strachan. A heavy crash for the Ice Cold Racing driver. Not a good start to the season for him. While this hit from Thibaut Venice on the penultimate lap of the race looked to have put paid to any chance Malcolm Müller had of making a move on Venice's teammate Sergei Yashin for 5th. But Müller wasn't having any of it at all. On the final corner of the penultimate lap, Müller went for it on the inside, he spotted a gap and through went to 5th spot. But here was the winner of the race, Rietveld weaving across the line in delight. And this gap illustrating the dominance he had over the rest of the field. Torborg coming round in 2nd, Levesque in 3rd. And here are confirmation of those race results then. Jeffrey Rietveld winning by over 11 seconds from reigning champion Jesper Torborg. 3rd and 4th was William Levesque and Adrian Holm. A good performance from the Ice Cold Racing driver. The best we've seen in a long while from him. 5th spot was Sergei Yashin. 6th spot Michael Müller. 7th and 8th Venice and Salo. 9th Strauss. 10th Kilo. 11th 12th Davis and Gerdica. Junton Adams 13th and 14th, while Wiesemüller and McGregor continued to lap together 15th and 16th. And the championship standings after that first event, after points penalties that have been applied, Jeffrey Rietveld there on top of the standings. Torborg in 2nd, good start to the championship for him, while the surprise was Walk Racing leading the team's championship, while it was Kevin Angwin who took the win in Division 2, earning himself a place in Division 1 for the next round from Barbagallo. I've been Ryan Callan, thanks for watching. Don't forget to look out for more Virtual V8 Supercars highlights, and also you can watch the live races on our website www.TouringProSeries.com, and don't forget to click the subscribe button or to follow us on both Facebook and Twitter.